So my invitation to you is really simple. You can get free of suffering, but in order to do it, you got to realize it's all your expectations that make you suffer. I'll give you one quick example. I'm fortunate enough, like Mark, I have my own plane, so I can fly, anywhere in the world, and I traveled this last year to 16 countries, so it's a great privilege to have a bed and go straight to China nonstop. Unbelievable. But most of my life, I took commercial aircraft. And after a while, I started chartering in the US, but going overseas was too expensive, so I didn't do that. So I found half my time I was on an airplane. About every 4 days, I was on an airplane or on stage, one of the two. Pretty intense life. So, interesting enough, in those days, I go 3 times a year to Australia. I still do, but in those days, commercially. And I get on Qantas Airlines on a flight here in San Francisco or LA in those days, and it's a 14-hour flight, and there was just one problem. 31 companies. In those days, it was like 24 companies or 15 companies. I got all these people I'm responsible for. I'm a committed guy. And how am I connected 24/7, right? We all know what it is. It's all these tools that we develop, all this technology. But I was used to domestically, you got connection to the internet, even while you're flying. But you get on that 14-hour flight, death, no technology, no web. And I was like so frustrated. Why do they do this? These 14 hours, they can be so productive. Oh my God. Who knows what I'm talking about here? Get a sense of what I'm talking about. So what happens? One day after years of going through this, before I had my own plane, I'm on this flight, and Qantas Airlines announces we're about to take off. Guess what? We can now proudly tell you we now have international internet. And it was like people cheered. Some people stood up in the aisles and clapped. I didn't, but I felt like doing it. It was just like, this is incredible. It's like God descended into the building. We have internet. We got Instagram. We got Facebook. We got email. This is the most amazing thing. And then what do you think happened within 15 minutes? What do you think happened? Tell me, come on. It broke down. And when do you think it worked again? Never. 14 hours without it, and people are like, this is bullshit. I can't believe this crap. I'm not putting up with it. 15 minutes earlier, it was a miracle. Now it's already an expectation. Write this down. If you want to change your life, trade your expectations for appreciation, and your whole life will change in that moment. Trade your expectations for appreciation, and your whole life will change in that moment. If you are suffering, there's only one reason. Things aren't meeting your expectations. What are the chances of everyone in your life meeting your expectations for the rest of your life? What are they? What are your expectations that God or the universe will meet your expectations every moment? See, I'd like you. Are you married, sir? Is she here? Oh, she's with your twins. How beautiful. Congratulations. I would never want to see you have any pain if I could ever avoid it, if I could do anything about it, but I'm not God. So I can do something different since I'm not God. I can get you to consider something that if you did it would give you freedom. It would be an absolute commitment in yourself to say, life is too short to suffer. God has given me this creation, and I'm going to love every moment. I'm going to find ecstasy every moment of my children, even when they do crazy shit, even when they're rugrats. I'm going to have with my wife, even when she doesn't seem to be listening to me or my husband isn't. I'm going to do it even if she left me. I can't control her leaving you, but I can control one thing. You can make the decision that you are going to find beauty in everything in life, and you're going to learn from everything in life, and that is the only way you'll be out of suffering. Otherwise, it won't matter how much money you make, it won't matter how many people love you, it doesn't matter how many great kids you have. Are there going to be disasters and challenges for all of us, yes or no? Yes or no? All of us, I don't care how rich you are financially, I don't care how smart you are, I don't know if you have an IQ of a genius, I don't care if you've got the biggest company in the world. Every person in the room is going to experience extreme stress in your future. Everyone here will have something, a robbery, a house that burns down, an earthquake, somebody that cheats you, somebody steals money from you, somebody you totally trusted and then they screw you over, somebody that betrays you. Aren't you glad you came to this positive seminar? See, you thought I was Mr. Positive Thinking. You're so wrong. See, I'm a realist. I don't believe, I'm not stupid. I don't think that everybody, I know that most people are not fit and healthy. Most people around the world do not have a relationship where they're totally passionate. Most people do not love their work. True or false? But a few do. I'm interested in the few who do versus the many who talk. I'm interested in the few that live the beautiful states versus the masses that suffer. And I also know that anyone can end that suffering in a moment if you make the decision that says, I have decided from this day forward, I'm gonna find beauty in everything by being in a beautiful state. And that means if you start to suffer, by the way, you're gonna suffer, we all do. Because this brain is 2 million years old and it's gonna keep acting, it's gonna keep looking what's wrong. But the difference is when it comes in, if you've made the decision, you'll start to suffer, and I created for myself a 90-second rule. I got 90 seconds to get this shit out of me. In those 90 seconds, I figure out what it is and I know how to stop suffering. I'm suffering because I'm having an expectation that's not being met. And while I think it's life and death, it's just my preference. It's my preference that you guys had more energy than we started. It's my preference that you'd have a great time. It's my preference that my kids would do everything I want them to do. It's my preference that all my employees across all these companies will do all the right things every day. God will laugh at your preferences. And what I found is I have my preferences, which are wonderful, but I'm still going to live in a beautiful state because life is precious. Hey, what if you were God? And you come down and you talk to one of your creations and you say, how's it doing down here? How's it going down here on earth? What do you think? And a person that you're talking to that you created goes, well, God, I mean, you could have done a better job. I mean, come on. Why'd you make it so frickin' foggy here in San Francisco? I couldn't land my plane the other day. And why would you go planes that could cut through the fog? I mean, you're God. And why did you make all these irritating people? You know, I had so many irritating people. They try to stop me from doing things. And you know, and also it's just like, why didn't you just make me rich? Why do I have to work? And besides that, you even got these little ants. You know those little red ants? They're like this small and they bite the shit out of me. Why would you create those for me? If you heard all this bitching and you were God, would you want to hang out with this person? If you were God, you might, say, I don't know. What if you go to somebody else, you go, what do you think? One of your other creations. And that person says, God, you're amazing. This is the most beautiful place on earth. This is heaven. This is extraordinary. I mean, there's so many different kinds of people and they challenge me in so many different ways. I have to grow to understand them and understand myself. And you make the fog and you make the sun and it's always changing so I'm never bored. And you make these little red ants. Damn, they're courageous. I'm 10,000 times their size and they'll bite my ass. That's pretty cool. Who would you want to spend time with? The first person or the second one if you were God? Which one? So if you're not experiencing God, perhaps you're bitching too much. Perhaps it's not God, perhaps it's you and you're whining and you're suffering. So I want to finish with this. If you want to stop suffering, first you got to know how you suffer and recognize and be honest. Second, you can't tolerate. We all get what we tolerate. So you have to make the decision. I'm going to be in a beautiful state the rest of my life. Doesn't have to be happy. It could be determined. It could be curious. It could be committed. It could be energized. It could be grateful. It could be loving. It could be happy. It could be any of these. But I am going to be that every day because I'm capable. And I've shown you early you are, because how fast can you change your state, my friends? How fast? Come on, guys, how fast? If you stop using your mind and you use your body and your heart, your spirit, that's what will put you there. The mind won't keep you there. It might get you there for when things go your way, your mind will feel happy. But what happens when they don't? I was talking to a man the other day and he was telling me all about his company and he lost the company, built it up and it was $1 billion company. And then, the venture capitalist guys voted him out of his own company. I said, welcome to Steve Jobs' world. And then he told me this new company he's creating, but he doesn't want to put it in so he's afraid of getting hurt again. I said, you lost that company for a reason. Perhaps it's so you can build this company, which is going to save people's health. What if you and we stop the suffering by having one new belief? Here's what I believe in my soul. Life is always happening for us, never to us. We think it's happening to us because of our minds, but it's all happening for us. Even the pain, even the disappointment, even the problems. If my mother had been the mother I'd wanted, I would not be here today. If my father had not left, I would not feed 1 billion people, much less 100 million, much less 1,000. Maybe life isn't always about getting your preferences. Maybe life is about you becoming more. And when you do, you feel more alive and you have more to give. And that's the purpose of life. Because when we're giving, we're outside of ourselves. There's no suffering when we're giving. In fact, when you're most happy and excited about something, what's the first thing you want to do? How many of you, the minute something great happens, you want to share it with somebody you love? Raise your hand if that's what you want to do. Say, I. Why? Because when you share it, there's only so much you can feel inside. Even if it's sex or rock and roll, love, drugs, whatever you think is going to make float your boat, money. You can only feel so much. But when you share it, it multiplies. So here's the antidote to suffering. Identify your favorite flavor. Make the decision that says, I will not suffer. I'm going to live in a beautiful state no matter. What if it rains on your parade? What if your best friend screws you over? What if somebody yells at you? What if you get humiliated? What if you go broke? What if you lose your job? Could you still be happy, yes or no? Are there people who have lost arms, legs, been blinded, lost their family, and they're still loving and happy and beautiful, yes or no? And they aren't just Mother Teresa, they're not just Nelson Mandela, they're any human being that decides to live where it's not about themselves.